Whole Foods out there. You had the Target. I frequented that
Look
Target,
at this
you know.
guy.
And then,
All right.
yeah, I lived right there. You know, it was a good time. You know, but that in the back, it was a good time for like a month, and then the pandemic started, and then it was kind of crappy for. Well, there are a lot of worse places that you could be during a pandemic than Vegas, where it was basically sunny and 70 to 75 every day. But so that was cool.
Were you there in the claim jumper days?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
There was a claim jumper that used to be right across from Boca Park. It used to be a happening spot. And then,
not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, they're all gone. Actually, they tore that down as we do a very local neighborhood conversation here with Mal Simmons.
Wow, yeah, seriously,
who lives in LA. Okay, let's talk about the draft from this perspective.
Do we have to? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, with you. You know the Rams as well as anyone. Do you get the feeling with the extra draft capital the Rams have that they may go super aggro and try to move up in the draft? Or would your approach be, hey, let's use the picks and get multiple players? Or could they be on the move?
I do think they could be on the move. I mean, if somebody's going to be aggressive, it would be them. I mean, and I think it would be to get somebody like Jeremiah Love. I mean, that is a team that when the offense was at its best early in the days of Sean McVay, it was running through Todd Gurley. Now, you have a quarterback in Matthew Stafford who obviously played extremely well last year, was the MVP of the National Football League. However, he's only getting older, right? And I think the more pressure you can take off of him with the run game and with somebody who can be so dynamic out of the backfield, then, you want to do that, right? This is a team that tried to get Christian McCaffrey, okay? If Christian McCaffrey had not gone to the San Francisco 49ers, he would have been a Los Angeles Rams. So I could see the Rams doing something like that and being aggressive. Now, you have to have a partner in order to do that, right? It takes two to tango. So that would mean that, either the Giants, or if he falls down to 5, or the Titans or the Cardinals would be have to be very inclined to say, okay, we will let you have whatever pick we've got in the top 5, and then we'll go down and you got to give us probably at least another. I mean, like I would say probably 2 first-round picks to go down to 13, because the Rams already gave up what they had at what was 29 to get Trent McDuffie. So you're going to have to use future draft capital in order to do something like that. But if you are going to push everything into the middle and say we are all in this year and we want this kind of dynamic offensive player so we can go and get a Lombardi trophy, yeah, I could certainly see that happening.
Do we see them finally finding the signal caller of the future in this draft potentially?
No, I don't think so. And unless they are going to use a pick in like the 4th or 5th round, and it happens to like Garrett Nussmeier falls that low, and it so happens that like this year was more of an aberration with the injury than it wasn't for a Garrett Nussmeier, right? Or maybe Drew Aller is the same way. But I have more questions about Drew Aller's ceiling and floor than I do about a Nussmeier. Fair or not, I don't know. But I mean, both of those guys, it's so interesting to me that those two were the co-favorites, betting favorites to go number 1 overall at the start of the college football season in 2025. It's anybody's best guess where they might end up over the next couple of days. I don't know that either one of those guys is going to be a day 2 pick. I mean, it certainly could be a Saturday situation for both of those guys. But I think the Rams are trying to win right now. Could they come out of the draft with a signal caller? Sure. But I don't think that picking Ty Simpson on day 2 is as attractive as picking somebody who can actually help you try to win a Super Bowl this year while you still have Matthew Stafford.
So I'm curious your thoughts on just the draft thing, I guess we'll call it in general, especially when it comes to information and, as we call them, smoke screens. I've always thought, Miles, like if I'm an NFL team, why would I need to do that in the media? Like I'm just doing my thing. I'm setting up my board. I don't think there's been, I could be wrong, but I don't think there's been ever a time in NFL history where an NFL GM has pulled up ESPN and they're like, the Rams are going to do what? We've got to change everything. Like, I just don't really buy it. I feel like this is more agents and players camps than anything else, but maybe you could tell me differently.
Well, no, I think you're probably onto a little bit of something. I think some guys want, in terms of agents, want to, for lack of a better term, fluff their clients, right? Like they want to pump them up. They want guys to seem more attractive than maybe they really are. And some of that can then be media creations. Like look at what happened with Shedeur Sanders last year. I mean, everybody going into it was like, oh my gosh, this could be a first round pick. And then it's not. Well, why hasn't he gone in the second round? And we do this and we do this and we do this and we figure out, well, NFL talent evaluators had him more as a fifth round pick. Fair or not, I don't know. I mean, he didn't necessarily play all that well. He sometimes acquitted himself well for the Browns as a rookie. He sometimes didn't. So there is a lot that goes into it. But I think you're right when you're talking about, media creations. And some of this ends up being like, oh yeah, we're saying a bunch of stuff so that people will tune in. Like I saw something today and I don't remember what person put it out, but it was something like, oh my, don't be like Ty. It was something crazy. It was Carson Beck could go in the first round. And it's like, don't BS me like that, man. Like that's not happening. Like we've all watched Carson Beck for the last few years. There is no talent evaluator, great or not great, that would say, yes, Carson Beck is somebody that we have to pick in the first round because we need to have a fifth-year option for him. Hell no. Come on, man. Like, don't do that. That I just think that's silly. And so that's why I'm like, just tell me where the players are going, and then we can talk about the results of the draft. Like, I like that better.
That actually, to me, is like the big one. I don't understand this obsession with the fifth-year option, and I keep making the joke, Miles, like, yeah, you know what? The Saints are screwed. They're never going to be able to re-sign Tyler Shuck because they didn't get him in the first round, and they don't have the fifth year and the extra year of control. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah, it's so funny because if your quarterback is actually good, then damn the fifth-year option. It becomes a little bit irrelevant because, like, sure, it's a bit of a starting point for negotiations, once you get to a certain point. Like, that's probably what's happening with C.J. Stroud right now. Like this is a guy who's gotten through year 3. They, of course, are going to exercise the fifth-year option on him. He, despite this sort of talk of, oh, what are they going to do? Why is Will Anderson getting a deal and CJ Stroud isn't? Well, like quarterback deals are more complicated, first of all, than defensive end deals. And, even if you're sold on CJ Stroud, there's an element of, well, we want to wait and see what happens after the draft. We want to really dig into this and be able to talk about it before we can really get it done. And again, that's after year 3. So if you're a really good quarterback, you're going to get a deal after year 3, unless you play for the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, and they want to, bleep around and do stupid stuff with contracts. So then they end up getting held over a barrel and paying a lot more money. Smart teams do deals early. And that's why, yes, you're right, JVT. Like the fifth-year option, if the quarterback is actually good, pretty irrelevant. If the quarterback is more mediocre to bad, then it's not, I mean, like Bryce Young, I think is going to be a really interesting case. What are they going to do? Because I don't think he's shown any kind of way nearly enough to say, yes, let's have you be our quarterback for the long term. I mean, how? Because they were, a mediocre team that ended up in the playoffs and had a good game against the Los Angeles Rams. But like, come on, that's not somebody that you want to sign to an extension and pay $50 million to. Certainly not. But fifth-year option is still less than 30. I mean, that's a bargain for a starting quarterback. So that's why the Panthers should do that. But I don't know what they're going to do when it comes to a potential extension with him. I think you got to wait and see until after the 26th season.
Miles Simmons up on ESPN Las Vegas from Pro Football Talk. We mentioned Jeremiah Love could be a guy that people hunger for, yearn for, and will move up for. Is there anyone else that you've heard at Pro Football Talk that you guys have written about in that 4 to 10 range that someone might go crazy over? And the teams I point to, again, are the teams that have multiple first-round picks who are just outside or at the back end of the top 10, like the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Dolphins. Who could be the player? And then we can go team by team. But who could be the player that folks are really fired up about to move up for?
I think Tate is one of those guys that if people are looking at, okay, can you be a really, really good impact player right away, coming from Ohio State, like that's one of them. Caleb Downs is interesting too, because people don't seem to know exactly where you're going to put him, but you have to have, if you have a clear plan in mind, then that's another one. I think it's interesting because you have all these teams that are in, the top 10, the top 15, and you look at yourself and you say, okay, like what are the Commanders really going to do? I saw it today, like people are talking about how the Commanders, if Jeremiah Love falls a little bit, like he's going to get snapped up by the Commanders, and of course. But I don't think Jeremiah Love's going to be there at 7. So then that becomes a situation where it's like, okay, do the Giants then say, let's come up from 10 and get somebody else that we want in that range? Are the Browns a candidate to trade down if somebody who they want is gone early on in that first round? Are the Chiefs a candidate to trade down at number 9 if somebody who they really covet is also gone? So yeah, there are a lot of teams that could make a little bit of noise. The Cowboys is certainly a team that could come up. And I think the Cowboys now get a little bit more fascinating just based on what we heard today from the Joneses about George Pickens. And, okay, like there's an element of newness, whatever the hell that means, with George Pickens when you've already had him in your building for a year and then you decided to use a franchise tag on him and now you're really not going to negotiate a long-term deal. That to me is a little bit weird. And if I'm George Pickens, I just sign the franchise tender and say, well, now I'm on your books. What are you going to do? Yeah. And then maybe they trade him, maybe they don't. I don't know. But, if that's what you want to do, then George Pickens, you can sign that thing and you can stay away all of the offseason program. You can come in and do, training a little bit for mandatory minicamp, but they've got to figure something out with you. And they probably need to force that issue. So, yeah, I think if it so happens that the Cowboys trade up for premium defensive player, premium offensive player, especially a premium offensive player, that could make things very interesting with George Pickens as a consequence.
Miles Simmons, PFT, is up with us here on ESPN Las Vegas on this Wednesday. Draft going down tomorrow. Our coverage all we'll have coverage as well. We're going to be at the Palms Live during the draft, so join us at the Center Bar with Cofield and Company. But over on Raider Nation Radio 920, coverage starts at 10 a.m. Pacific and goes all the way through the draft, so that is your one-stop shop. Listen to us as well over on Raider Nation Radio 920. Before we get back to the draft, Miles, and I think we still have Miles with us. Miles?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. A couple of notes about broadcast entities and future personalities. Mike Tomlin's going into broadcasting.
Oh, boy.
Sean McDermott.
He's going to be my coworker.
Yeah, Sean McDermott is going in. Can you make a case that McDermott might be better than Tomlin?
No.
I was hoping for an upset.
No. Look, I don't know how good either one of those guys are going to be. Mike Tomlin, obviously so seasoned in front of a microphone, right? And he's got a personality. He loves saying little things, and I think what's going to be fun is to see how candid he gets. One of the things that I think people tune in to pregame shows, postgame shows for is to hear the opinions of specific people. Right, like Michael Strahan is somebody you want to hear on Fox. Terry Bradshaw is, getting a little older, but like guys like Jimmy Johnson and Howie Long, they have personalities. Right? I think that's something that Mike Tomlin can certainly bring to us at NBC Sports, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what it is that he does and how it is that he portrays himself. Sean McDermott, if Sean McDermott is going to be very candid, then he could be really interesting. All coaches can be really interesting, but I don't know how much that's going to happen, right? This is a guy who admitted today when he was on the Rich Eisen show, and I wrote about this at ProFootballTalk.com, you can go read about it, that he absolutely wants to continue coaching. And so when that's the case, you may tend to pull a couple punches, which is fine. I'd have no real problem with that. However, if that's the case, then you're not going to be as interesting on television as somebody who's not. And, Mike Tomlin, it seems, does not necessarily have that much interest in jumping back into coaching right away. This could not, I think this might be a longer deal than just a year, right? It could be a Bill Cowher situation where he maybe never goes and coaches again. So I kind of hope that's not the case because I think Mike Tomlin's a very good coach, but there's a larger discussion about the type of coach he is and how that, applies to the NFL in 2026, 2027. But yeah, I don't think that there's any way that Sean McDermott in 2026 is going to be better on television than Mike Tomlin. And I don't really mean that as an insult to Sean McDermott, but it's just kind of true.
So we used to have on my main job, we used to have a segment when I worked at nights called Step Up to the Mic, where we would just play Mike Tomlin clips in his press conferences because that's all he would do. And a Sporting Tribune writer at one point last year had one of the best tweets about him, which was Tomlin will say something like, "We can't eat soup with forks. We need spoons." And then the Steelers will go and sign like a 2018 Pro Bowler. And that's exactly what the Steelers, that's what Tomlin does, dude. I think he's going to be great on television. He's going to be better than Brady.
Yes, absolutely. And right away, But like Brady, and Brady's worked at it. You know,
Yeah.
he had to work at it because he was not very good in his first season on television. But I think his natural cadence and his natural love of football now comes through when he's broadcasting games and, you know, something's happening and he just goes, oh, and it's like, that's the way we watch football. And I think that that's fun. And I love that his love of the game is coming through in that way. So that to me is what it takes to be a good football broadcaster. And it's different jobs too, you know, like Brady's on in the booth and Tomlin's going to be in the studio. But I think there's reason to feel like Tomlin's gonna be quotable and have good sound bites, you know, throughout his time on television.
Is there go back to McDermott for a second? He wants to coach again. He should coach again. He did a mostly good job. Bills just turned the page. They need a change. Is there a job that you think is like an instant lock for McDermott? I wonder what kind of job he'd want, because I'm thinking of a couple of Northeast corridor jobs. I mean, I guess he would have interest in working with the Eagles, but you know, it's a tough job, but you have a good team. And then at the bottom of the barrel, I think the Jets job could be open.
Yeah, Jets job could be open. We'll see what happens with Tampa Bay. You know, I mean, there's a lot of turnover in Tampa Bay. When you're bringing in 2 new coordinators, that's a little tough. I think that, look, McDermott's issue sometimes seemed to be that like his teams got really tight in the worst moments, and he made some bad coaching decisions in some of the worst moments to have bad coaching decisions, right? I mean, the fame 13 seconds, right? You know, whether it's letting a running back go in the 2024 AFC Championship game so that they can get out of the backfield and win. So, like, they're just bad moments. I think this year, that Denver game, there were a ton of bad moments as well. And I just think it's interesting that when the offense turns the ball over 5 times, you know, you promote the offensive coordinator, and, you know, the guys throw into peewee wide receivers, and you promote the GM as well. And Sean McDermott has to take the fall. Like, okay, but that to me is more of a signal that he's not the only problem there, right? And so I don't know if Joe Brady's going to be much better or not. I like Joe Brady. I dealt with Joe Brady when I was with the Carolina Panthers, and I think he's a good dude. I think he's a smart guy. I think he understands offense a lot, but that doesn't mean he's going to be successful. So we'll have to see. But I think that there will be – Sean McDermott's going to be the kind of the Mike Vrabel of, you know, the coaching cycle last year. Like I would anticipate that would be the case for a Sean McDermott going into 2027.
Miles Simmons with us, Peacock. So I got to veer off here for a second and get your comments on the NBA. No. I actually, first of all, JVT, can you remind me of you? I don't know if you went back and forth with a fellow tweeter, but someone on Twitter was complaining that with the NBA, they couldn't find the games.
Oh, I just responded to a media member who said they had to Google every night which network the games were on, which is just stupid. You know how to pull it up. And also, every single sports bug website has all of the broadcasts and the channels listed next to the names. Well, you're just complaining to complain.
You're right. It's another thing to bitch about with the NBA for people who are against the NBA. Most of your platforms that carry multiple channels, whatever it is, Hulu or YouTube, the games are just up top. I said to my girlfriend last night, we were looking for the Lakers game, and I'm like, I have no idea who's carrying it until I see it on the menu, and I click on it, and I'm like, oh, NBC. And I got to tell you, I don't watch as much basketball as John does. I like the NBC presentation of the games. The other night, I can't remember what game it was, but a guy named Michael Grady, who I'd never heard of before, but I guess he's been doing it for a while, and he actually took the long road up in Indianapolis, was doing the game with Scalabrine, and they were so non-traditional in the way they called the game. Like, I really enjoyed it. The sideline reporters, I've never seen most of them. I think they do a pretty good job.
Miles, pass it on to whoever you need to at this point right now. I think NBC did the best out of all of them. And the way I kept phrasing it was throughout the regular season, it felt like a bunch of mini Sunday night footballs. You know, Sunday night football feels like really big and it feels really important. They do a really good job. And on a Wednesday or whatever it was, I'm watching like a little mini Sunday night football. And I thought it was great. I thought the presentation, the pageantry, it was fantastic. Tell anybody you need to, Miles. John Von Tobel in Vegas loves NBC with what they did at the NBA this year.
Watch out.
Well, as certainly as an NBC sports employee, I love hearing this, and I certainly do not disagree. I think one of the great things about the NBA playoffs, though, is that like every game can be such an event, and you don't know what you're going to see, and you get all these great matchups between all these great players. And look at what the hell LeBron is doing right now, man. Oh my gosh, 41 years old doing reverse dunks, like that's crazy. Like LeBron James has been doing this practically my entire sports consciousness. LeBron James is the person who made me love basketball as a kid growing up in Cleveland, a Northeast Ohio kid just like him. I like, it's weird to say this, and I was having this conversation with a buddy yesterday. Like, I'm proud of LeBron, man. Like, I just am. And like, the more I watch him, and he's just so great. He's the best basketball player who's ever lived.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'll say it. I don't care. Like, he is great. He's never really had an off the field scandal. I mean, you know how hard it is to be in the spotlight for as long as he has? He looks like he's an engaged father. His kids seem to love him. Hell, he's playing with one of them on his team right now who's almost getting meaningful freaking minutes in playoff games. I mean, this is just such a cool story to me. And I guess, especially as a Northeast Ohio kid, I love it so much. So yeah, I'm always engaged in the NBA playoffs, but that's so cool. And also tip for, like, if you want to know what channel the game is on, the Yahoo Sports app actually is the best for it because it gives you all the games. It separates things by league, and you just look at it, and 2 seconds later you'll know what channel it's on. That's what I always do.
Miles will like this stat. The most 25 5-5 playoff games. LeBron after turning 30 has 80. LeBron before turning 30 has 75. Michael Jordan has 73 total.
Ooh.
Just saying.
Careful.
Just saying.
Picking
Just
fights.
saying. Yep.
Picking fights. What do you guys have in terms of coverage tomorrow on PFT? What's going on for the NFL draft?
Yeah, it's one of our biggest coverage days of the year, and that's pretty obvious, but we will break down every single pick 1 to 32 on Thursday night, and then we will continue with the premium picks going on Friday night, and we'll continue with select picks on Saturday as well. And Florio is going to be doing videos for pretty much every first-round pick tomorrow night too, so you'll check that out on the NFL on NBC YouTube page, and then, of course, you can check out all the content on ProFootballTalk.com. A lot coming.
Miles, thank you. We'll talk to you.
All right, take care, guys. Happy draft.
There it is. Miles
Love
Simmons,
you.
Pro Football Talk. He deals with the draft for the next 2 days. He's not a big draft guy.
This year, I am. This year, for whatever reason, I
how come?
have failed to be captured by the draft.
You're not down with the betting?
No, not even that.
We've
Usually,
diminished the betting so much here in Vegas that
there's that. I
Yeah.
mean, usually when this first started, there were so many different options. Now books, and there's the weird Nevada rule where it's not anywhere else that they take it down 24 hours before the draft. So at this point right now, what time is it? Yeah, it's probably down now as we speak. So that's part of it. The offerings have been less and less. That's part of it. I don't know. I mean, whenever you get this, I liken it to the MVP. When you get such a heavy favorite at the top and there's not that much drama about maybe who's going to go first or whatever it's going to, not as many sexy positions in terms of names who might go second or third. I don't know. I find myself having difficulty latching onto the draft this year. Maybe it's also because the Colts don't have a first-round pick for the next 2 years because they went and got Sauce Gardner, so I don't really care that much either. So I think there's a lot of factors that tie into it.
back to my point about the basketball playoffs being on NBC and Scalabrine being on the game the other day and this guy, Michael Grady. So the game was Denver and the Wolves. And
Awesome.
this is not a bad thing. It was non-traditional in that they came off as very much fans. Like they were really excited about the game. It wasn't as formatically rigid as a lot of announcers. I thought it was really entertaining. Now the game was too. The game was a great game. So, okay, we got to build on what's going on in the NBA playoffs in about 10 minutes. But on the way back, with draft coverage, you know, one of the things that made Mel Kiper back in the day, if people remember, was Kiper laying down opinions, and he didn't care if he did it in the face of someone who was the talent evaluator, and he did it with the Colts. I think it was a year they took Trev Alberts, and he flipped out, and then the GM came back. I think it was Tobin, and he's like, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and then Kiper went back at him. I don't feel like we have anyone step out of line anymore and give a dissenting opinion. Like every first-round pick, and maybe there'll be a couple, but it'll be late, right? And it has to be like a shocker, like someone who's expected to go like 45th goes 15th. But beyond that, there's really no critical analysis. And I want one person to step out of line on Mendoza and say something. He has to have some weakness. He has to have some question about him. There's a great story put together by a veteran NFL reporter. And I'll read you the comments from one scout who looked at Mendoza and he's like, yeah, I don't see what everyone else is seeing.
Got something to say? Hit us up on the Bay Law text line. 702-364-1100. Brought to you by Bay Law Injury Attorneys. Winning is no accident.
Big news, Las Vegas. Les Olson IT has moved to a bigger, better facility to serve you like never before. Our new space means more technology, more service, and more solutions, all designed with you in mind. Plus, we're hiring. If you're ready to grow with a company that values innovation and community, join our team today. Proudly serving Las Vegas for 23 years and counting. Les Olson IT, your business better.
Les Olson IT.
When someone in our Las Vegas community gets hurt, I take it personally. I know what it feels like to fight for your family, to face medical bills, lost wages, and fear of the unknown. At Gina Carina and Associates, you're not just another case. You're a person with a story, and I'm here to help you write a better ending. We fight hard, we fight smart, and we never forget it's your life we have on our hands.
Gina Carina and Associates. Changing lives daily.
Boxing is back for Cinco de Mayo weekend. On Saturday, May 2nd, live from T-Mobile Arena, undefeated world champion David Benavidez takes on unified cruiserweight king Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez in a highly anticipated battle. Plus, a world championship co-main event between two of Mexico's toughest contenders, super middleweight world champion Armando Resendiz and all-action former world champ Jaime Munguia. Don't miss a star-studded night of boxing. Saturday, May 2nd, live from T-Mobile Arena. Get your tickets now at AXS.com.
Garlic Parmesan bread has arrived at Port of Subs, and it's bringing serious flavor. Warm, buttery garlic and rich Parmesan baked into every bite, turning any sub into something next level. It's bold, it's craveable, and it won't be here long. Order now at portofsubs.com. Garlic Parmesan, big flavor, baked in.
Slice fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
They served our country in silence, exposed to radiation, forgotten by the system meant to protect them. Now, their story is finally being told. Join us Thursday, May 7th at Anthem Country Club for an exclusive private documentary screening of The Invisible Enemy, followed by a powerful fundraising gala supporting legislation for our veterans. Be in the room with leaders, partners, and those fighting for justice. Tickets and sponsorships are available now. May 7th, 6 p.m., Anthem Country Club. Get tickets or become a sponsor. theinvisiblenemy.org.
Harry Douglas here. Let me ask you something. What if you can enjoy the taste of a cocktail, the warmth of a spirit, and still stay fully in control? That's RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category. RK delivers bold flavor and a real warming sensation with zero alcohol, zero sugar, zero carbs, and zero calories. Perfect for nights out, social gatherings, or anytime you want the experience of a drink without sacrificing tomorrow. Check it out at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, all the flavor, none of the alcohol.
Worried about your car payment? Don't be. Drive happy with a Westar Credit Union auto loan. Whether you are ready for something new or want to refinance your current ride, we've got you with affordable payments and easy approvals. Picture yourself behind the wheel, windows down, music up, on the road to what matters most. Apply today at westar.org or stop by your nearest branch. All loans are subject to approval. Terms and conditions apply. Must be a member to borrow. Membership requires a savings account with a minimum balance.
This is JT. Please join us Friday, May 8th as the Southern Nevada Sports Hall of Fame inducts the class of 2026. The honorees include Mark Davis, Tim Gergrich, Ryan Moore, and Mark Walkentine. Cliff Finley will be recognized as the inaugural Legacy Award recipient. Proceeds from the event will benefit Southern Nevada youth and scholarship programs. We invite you to join us on May 8th at Lee's Family Forum in Henderson. For tickets and information, visit snsHF.com.
It's not about the injury.
If you've been in a motorcycle accident, remember, it's not about the injury, it's about the recovery. Hi, this is Paul Pata from Paul Pata Law. Motorcycle accidents can be complex, and that's when you need an attorney that understands the unique challenges of a motorcycle accident case. At Paul Pata Law, we'll guide you through the journey of recovering physically, emotionally, and financially. Check us out at paulpatalaw.com or call us 702-707-3000.
This sports update is brought to you by the William Hill Nevada Mobile Sports Account, where you can earn up to a $250 bonus bet after placing your first wager. Sign up today and you'll never miss another bet. Go to williamhill.us for more info.
UNLV's Ilias
10 seconds.
Great season, while teammate Marko Maximovic is the league's freshman of the year. And the Henderson Silver Knights host the San Jose Barracuda tonight at 7 in Game 1 of their playoff series.
Now back to Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
NFL Draft on tap tomorrow. We'll have coverage live at the Palms Casino Resort. We'll be at the Center Bar. Jeff Parles and I, Cofield and Company, on the scene with chance to win Raiders tickets, chance to win the number 1 pick jersey of the Raiders. Again, that goes down 3-6. We'll join the draft in progress. You want to hear the draft coverage from beginning to end over on Raider Nation Radio 920. Q Myers will start the day off with Unnecessary Roughness at 10 a.m. on 920 a.m. Then the official Raiders draft show goes down 1 to 4, and then national coverage starts up at 4 o'clock. Again, that's over on Raider Nation Radio 920 a.m. James, do me a favor. Can you pull the Mendoza-Herbert analysis that was put forth by Todd McShay and Daniel Jeremiah? We'll play that in a minute. John, I wanted to read you. I was just talking about, before going to break, will anyone step up and have anything negative to say about Mendoza? And this isn't just, hey, I want to hear it. There has to be someone out there who's like, okay, I don't love this guy. Because most of what we're hearing is, hey, we really like him. And the comps have been, pretty stunning. A mind like Peyton Manning, a potential game like Matt Ryan. My physical comp, I don't think most people are going to love, but because he didn't turn out to be a great quarterback until about a year or two, only in his 30s, and great is going a long way. And my comp is Vinny Testaverde in terms of physicality. Here's what one veteran scout said. Jaden Daniels.
Mendoza or Justin Herbert?
Hold on one second. We're not going to fire the cut here. Thank you. We'll do that in a minute. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Drake May. Well, Mendoza would be below those guys. I saw them right away as franchise quarterbacks. This is what this scout is saying, John. Mm-hmm. This guy, Mendoza, lacks mobility. You need brains, accuracy, and wheels. Where are the wheels on this guy? Did you see him on that touchdown in the CFP title game? It looked like he was stuck in slow motion. I don't see the escape ability. The Raiders have 2 tackles, but the inner 3 of that offensive line is bad. It'd scare me to pick him in the first round. Another scout said, you don't see enough create. You don't see enough driving the ball down the field. Goody two-shoes personality. It's going to be different in that pro locker room. So there's 2 scouts there saying, we have some concerns. We have some worries about Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I've been amazed.
Is it? Because a lot of anytime criticism has been levied, anyone who has had a dissenting opinion about Fernando Mendoza around Raider Nation, they've melted down. Many people in Raider Nation.
Well, that's the thing. So I feel like maybe
some of the lead personalities who cover the Raiders have melted down. They love the guy.
I feel like we're maybe a little too close to the sun on this because we're here. But I would generally agree with you. And I think there's a couple of things. First off, it's that we are in the town and around the media that is covering this team and is going to essentially probably get him. So everybody wants to believe that this is going to be the perfect pick and that it's going to work out and he's going to be the franchise quarterback for forever because the Raiders haven't had one. There's also the sense of he's a really good guy. And so you probably don't want to be overtly critical of a dude that seems to be very nice and maybe a good person. I say maybe. You have no idea what people are. Mm-hmm. But I'm also with you in that the fact that you can't even say, it would seem, and again, you can, but the fact that anybody bristles at the thought of like, hey, what if he doesn't work out? Hey, what if there's flaws in his game? Hey, what if he's not Joe Burrow, which many people have alleged? What if he's not Peyton Manning? What if he's not the combination of Peyton Manning and Matt Ryan? The comps that I've heard for him are insane. That to me is what's blowing my mind, is the fact that There are so many people who are unwilling to maybe even entertain the thought that he could be like many number 1 overall picks and just not work out. He could also be great, but that should be part of the conversation, be part of your thought process. You should be ready for that outcome because that's one of many that can happen.
Yeah, I said the other day on Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network on their Sin City Sports Beat show that my expectations for Mendoza is that the Raiders are getting a top 15 quarterback in the league. And he did a double take. He's like, that's it? Like, I think that's what he probably is. I went on to say, Derek Carr, when he was good, like MVP good, and was probably the 8th, 9th, or 10th best quarterback at his best, that would be nice upside for Fernando Mendoza. And then I paid him a compliment by saying he could be a Derek Carr type player, but with a better personality and a better team guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what you're getting. I don't think he has a duplicitous personality like Derek Carr does. I think he's a very solid citizen. And you're not getting a guy who, if he is frustrated early in his career, isn't going to work to get through it. There are guys who I think hit that wall and are like, oh my God, this is really hard. And then they fade. They don't work to break through the freaking barrier. I think Mendoza is going to do everything to try to be a great quarterback. But the other point here is all I've seen about Kirk Cousins signing with the Raiders is, oh, this is great. This is great. You don't want to put him out there right from the get-go.
Right.
And Jesse Merrick actually said it the other day from Silver and Black Sports Network. He's like, well, I kind of like my guys to be out there right away. If he truly is a Peyton Manning or a Matt Ryan, then he should be able to play right away. Now, this could be two things. The Raiders don't believe he's ready to play right away. They have some concerns. Or this is simply a philosophy thing. And with pretty much anyone, but do you believe this one? Pretty much with anyone, this Raiders brass would still have a bridge caretaker quarterback to play the first half of the season instead of him. Like if it were, well, Drake May actually was treated like this. If it were Caleb Williams, would they not play him right away? Would they have Kirk Cousins?
I don't know.
Caleb Williams probably needed a Kirk Cousins. Well, Caleb Williams actually, sorry to go against your guy, but Caleb Williams needed a real coach and a real OC.
Who's my guy?
I think Eberflus. I still think you have special feelings about Eberflus.
I'll have you know
and the good hair.
that Matt Eberflus, the year he got fired, preseason was the favorite to win Coach of the Year. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that really adhere to the, hey, he's got to sit type of deal. But I'm with you in that it's the first overall pick.
Yeah.
If you're using the first overall selection on a guy, he should be ready, regardless of position. I don't care about quarterback, safety, anything. And it's funny how we do that just with quarterback. And obviously there's an importance to it, but you would never dream of taking an edge rusher with the first overall pick if he was the best prospect and then saying, you know what? We're going to sign somebody else and put in front of him like a Von Miller so he can learn behind Von for a little bit before we really unleash him as a defensive end. No, you're going to trust that he is good enough to go out there and get it done. And it's the same thing here. I'm with you in that I think maybe there is a sense in this front office that no matter who it was, they were probably going to sit him. But if he's a high-end talent, as we keep saying, if Arch Manning the last day was just like, hey, I'm coming out. Raider Nation, you're getting excited about Arch Manning. You're not getting excited about Fernando Mendoza because he was going to be the first overall pick. So it goes to the sense of he is not this out-of-the-park prospect that many in this realm, as I'm saying in Las Vegas, are making him out to be.
I don't know, warn people right now. If you're saying he's going to be great and you're comparing him to Peyton Manning, or I don't know, you know what, James, let's fire this bite when NFL Draft Nicks, Todd McShay and Daniel Jeremiah were talking about Mendoza and Justin Herbert.
Mendoza or Justin Herbert?
I wouldn't stand on it now, but I have a higher grade on Mendoza than I had on Herbert coming out.
Same.
They're actually similar players, like a little bit mechanical, drive throwers more than layer throwers. Herbert's a better athlete.
And a stronger
arm. And a bigger arm.
Yeah, bigger arm, yeah. My grade is slight. I mean, it's like 93 Mendoza, 91, I think it was Herbert. So it's not a massive difference.
Okay. So they're like hemming and hawing, but they both have Mendoza graded the same or higher than Justin Herbert. So you're saying he's going to be at least Justin Herbert. And my here's my point. A couple of years from now, if he's awesome, folks like this and others who are saying, hey, this is Peyton Manning, this is Matt Ryan, this is Justin Herbert, there's no victory lap. Okay? Because he's doing what you said he should do. But I will remember this, that there were very few people who were actually throwing out some critical analysis and going, wait, Are we sure? Are we sure? And I'm not hoping it's true. Believe me, I want the Raiders to be good. It makes it better for us in this market. He seems like a great kid. He's got a great family. The Raiders deserve to be good. Mark Davis is trying his ass off. I like Kubiak. I like Spytek, but I'm laying it down right now. I can't wait to hear this case in 3 years if he turns out to not be a great quarterback and people are like, well, no one said that. No one saw this coming. Screw you. Screw you. No,
No, you're right.
Now, am I doing, Coach JB from the JUCO reality show who says, like, Mendoza's a 5th-round pick? No, but he may be right. And guess what? He gets to do a victory lap then. I think he's going to be an NFL quarterback. Some of the comps, like that one right there, I saw your face with Herbert. I'm like, okay, Herbert hasn't won the big ones yet, and that's his biggest flaw. But he's a pretty freaking talented guy.
Also, I love because when you're hearing them, like you said, Hem and Haw, I just love the pushing aside of, well, Herbert's like the better athlete and the bigger arm. And those are pretty important qualities to have when you're talking about a quarterback in today's day and age. Herbert's arm is great. There's a reason why he is, the quintessential, if he just had every single NFL nerd is just like, hey, Herbert, man, if only. He's the big if only quarterback. I don't know if that's Mendoza, but I bristle at the thought that this guy's flawless. It's even when we did our baseball show, Brandy Flores and I, face of the network, I was making fun of her because she started to kind of bristle at the fact that I thought, like, what if he's not good? And I told her, I said, you're spending too much time around Raider Nation. There is a chance, just like with any pick, that he could just not pan out. I'm with you. I think he seems to be good enough to just have a career in the National Football League, but I don't know if that means he's going to be Andy Dalton or if he's going to be Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he could be one of those two. And guess what? If he turns out to be Andy Dalton, for a first overall pick, it's not great, but that's a good NFL career to be proud of.
Wow. I'm using that one tomorrow on the eve of the draft. Andy Dalton now thrown in the mix with Testaverde.
But Andy Dalton is a good pro. That's a good pro.
If you look at his numbers, funny enough, and I don't know where his win numbers are. I think he's actually a better, more winning quarterback in the regular season than Eli Manning. If you actually compare the numbers, and certainly New York fans, they would croak if they heard that. But Dalton, he was part of a flawed franchise with the Bengals, but he put up big numbers. He was consistent. They actually won at a pretty high level. On the way back, we'll get you set up for the night in the NBA and a little more on the Lakers and how they're out to this 2-0 lead. And Ime Udoka is regarded as a pretty good coach. What is he doing? You can't figure out a way to free Kevin Durant from all these double teams? What is happening?
Spring into cash for betting sports on the William Hill mobile sports app. With the William Hill Cash Rewards program, you can earn up to $500 in cash. Earn Spring Rewards points for mobile wagers made until May 31st, win or lose. And you can earn even more Spring Rewards points for teasers, parlays, and same-game parlays. It's Cofield. You can find the bet you want by hitting the Quick Picks tab. Find those bets 10-1 or less, all the way up to the Dream Hit at over 60-1. Sign up for the William Hill mobile sports app today and opt in to enroll in Spring Rewards. To see participating locations, visit williamhill.us.
It's time to visit a world away for a day at the 49th Annual Spring Jamboree in Boulder City, May 2nd and 3rd from 9 to 4 in the 4 public parks of the historic downtown district, featuring tons of vendors with food and drink, arts and crafts, rock and mineral displays, activities for the kids, and more. It's fun for the entire family and admission is free. And best of all, the Boulder City Rod Run Car Show, sponsored by Lerner & Rowe Injury Attorneys. Come on down for 2 days of fun at the 49th Annual Spring Jamboree in Boulder City, May 2nd and 3rd.
Looking for your next adventure on the road? Findlay Toyota has you covered. With an unbeatable selection of brand new Toyotas, you'll find the perfect ride to fit your lifestyle and your budget. Whether it's the rugged Tacoma, the adventurous RAV4, or the powerful Tundra, at Findlay Toyota, we make financing easy and stress-free, no matter your credit situation. Findlay Toyota, driven to excellence. At the Valley Auto Mall in Henderson or online at findlaytoyota.com.
By July of 2025, nearly all Nevada employers will be required to offer a retirement plan to all employees. As a business, how do you even start? Just call the Vegas Chamber to get plugged into the Chamber's 401k plan. It's simple to administer, provides great options, and will quickly help your business meet Nevada's new retirement plan mandate. Visit vegaschamber.com to get plugged in.
Sponsored by the Vegas Chamber in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Good morning.
Vegas is built on service.
Your lights on, please.
3 shifts a day.
All right, let's do this.
As your morning begins.
It's showtime. We have a lot to talk about live on the program for the next 3 hours.
To do our part, News 3 Today delivers Las Vegas stories that shape your community.
Just in some breaking news on the economic front.
So, whether it's late breaking,
Breaking news.
bumper to bumper,
Avoid using flamingo.
or clearing skies,
No showers anticipated.
it's News 3 Today.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Patty Davidson here from BetMoneyHoney.com. Would you like to become an educated sports fan that also knows how to place a bet? How about a library of how games are played, how to make bets, and hot picks of the day? Join me at BetMoneyHoney.com.
I'm attorney Paul Powell. If you've been injured in an accident, call me right now, 728-5500. The call is free and we'll come to you. I promise to never take more money than you, and I put it in writing.
Paul Powell, more lawyer, less fee.
Fedora the Explorer 32 rode online. Getting to the Valley Auto Mall is so easy via freeway. Who thought my new truck was this hashtag close? Click or visit the Valley Auto Mall today.
Cofield and Company presents Grab Bag on ESPN Las Vegas.
Stick your hand in there, Dave. Yeah, I always love those exercises with quarterback comparisons. We were just talking about Andy Dalton. Maybe Fernando Mendoza is Andy Dalton. And a lot of people would flip out. Mendoza is going to be Dalton. What was his record in Cincinnati over the course of 9 seasons? Or whatever it was, 8 seasons?
Yeah, it was 9 seasons. Yeah, you were right. Over the course of 9 seasons, he was 9 games above 500. He was 70, 61, and 2.
Yeah, it's not great. But Eli Manning for his career is 117 and 117, and he might make the Hall of Fame. Regular season record.
Yeah. And the whole point here being is, again,
oh man,
with the first overall pick, we don't know if Fernando Mendoza is going to be, and if he turns out to be Andy Dalton, that's a very good career.
Yeah.
But it's not worth first overall pick.
No. Well, LeBron James was worth the number 1 pick. Very much so. He's turned out to be one of the great players of all time. And it's not shocking that he's played really well, close to triple-double level in this series against the Rockets. What's shocking is Kevin Durant looks 1,000 years old and looks flustered because of the double teams J.J. Redick is throwing at him. I don't know that Redick gets enough credit as a head coach in the NBA. Ime Udoka is not doing a whole lot to stop him.
No.
They got to do something here. This is ridiculous. I mean, there were times in that game as I'm watching it, and the announcers were like, boy, the Rockets really have no offensive weapons. I'm like, wait, how did the Rockets win all these games with no offensive weapons? Durant's the only guy? By the way, does Şengün have to catch the ball at 23 feet and make his own shot every time?
Did you see?
Like, how many times are we going to do this? This is the offense?
Did you see? There's a great clip. So Şengün has the ball at the top, like over on the right wing. I can't remember who's guarding him. I think it's even Ayton, and he pump fakes, and Ayton just stands there, and Luka's on the bench, and he just waves it off. He's just like, you're not going to shoot that, dude. Get out of here. It's bad. Look, there's a couple of things. I don't think Udoka is a very good offensive coach. I think we have a lot of proof of that. One of the best tweets I saw was he's Jeff Van Gundy, but with girlfriends. So he only focuses on defense.
Very true.
Yeah, right. And there's not much there on offense, and he only loves his veteran players. He doesn't like the young guys and just mother F's them all the time. And that is going to be a problem. Like you said, JJ Redick has done a great job. And the cool thing is, and this is why you and I both have an appreciation for basketball at a pretty solid level. And this is why I like basketball series, because you see adjustments from game to game. There's so many different things that you will see over the course of it. But in this, JJ Redick hasn't had to adjust because Ime Udoka and Kevin Durant have no idea what to do with it. They will send doubles at him. And the cool thing is it's not always the same double, because when you hear double teams, it's just, there's just two guys standing there. Sometimes it's a late double. Sometimes Kevin Durant will have a guy on him and he'll be in the post, and then he'll turn to shoot, and all of a sudden there's a late body right there. And you're like, oh, wait, I have to get out of this. Sometimes they just blitz him at the top of the key, and he's there and he has no idea what to do with it. He tries to shoot over it. He tries to get the ball out of his hands, doesn't know how to pass out of it. They've doubled him and sent two bodies at him in so many different ways. There has been zero adjustment, zero way to handle it in any way, shape, or form, which is also, it is part of Udoka's fault. It's also on Kevin Durant to be a player of this level this far into his career and still have no idea how to handle a double team like that. It's pretty shocking.
The other thing, like you said, he is a pretty good defensive coach. When LaRavia and Marcus Smart are on the floor, can you pay a little extra attention to Luke Kennard, please? We're just going to act like he's nobody. Can they adjust on that? He's been pretty good.
Luke Kennard said to me.
What?
In an interview with Ramona Shelburne, he said, yeah, I played with the Clippers, but there's something different about playing in LA in a Lakers uniform. It's like, screw you, brother.
Well, we're not going to say he's Ohtani all over again. It's not quite to that level.
No. Where they introduced him at the Rams game after he signed with the Dodgers and said, welcome to LA, even though he'd been there for 6 years.
He's been in the area forever. Tomorrow, Cofield and Company on the road for the draft. Palms Casino Resort live 3 to 6. We're giving away Raiders tickets. We're giving away the jersey of the Raiders' #1 overall pick. I think we know who that's going to be. Lots of giveaways, lots of draft talk. We'll go to the draft live with all the picks. For James back in studio, thanks to Battleborn Injury Lawyers. We'll see you. Yo, it's Cofield. Join me for Free Stuff Saturday at Gaudin Ford. Take a test drive and score a free $20 gift card. Buy a new ride and grab a